Coach, you talked about how much, you're a mathematics guy by trade. So obviously, and I'm sure you wouldn't say this about yourself, but obviously, a very intelligent person, very cerebral, I'm sure. So one of the things I kind of noticed that seems to be the most difficult for these coaches. So I'm really interested to see how you helped yourself do this, is someone that is really cerebral and incredibly intelligent, is to be able to get their kids to learn what they want them to learn, because sometimes it seems so easy to a cerebral coach to them, where it may be a little more difficult to some of their kids that aren't up to that level. So did you kind of notice that as you first started coaching? And then what are some things that you did to not necessarily water it down, but try to get it to communicated to kids that maybe don't get it as quickly or see it as well as you do?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and I think we all, and I tell this to myself, and I work with a good guy, a good friend of mine, and we had the same philosophies, but we were kind of polar opposite. And our running joke for him would be to put shackles on my mind. And then my running joke to him would to be more aggressive. So you have to, get things into a manner to where you can actually follow the kids' philosophy and get your kids to understand. And I think the biggest thing that you do is making it simple for them to learn, and then involving them in the process. And then the biggest question is why. And so, when you can go back to even when you just having a group position meeting, how you present stuff in your classroom. I think everything goes back to that as teachers. You have to ask yourself, how do you get your kids to understand things? If you've got a smartboard in your classroom and you use 8 different colors to do a math problem, why don't you draw up your plays in 8 different colors? In the sense of, why don't you draw up what you're doing as far as how they're blocking and who they're blocking, and understand the difference between the blocks and the halo and the things of that nature, and then the hard deck. You have to understand it that way. Use video to show the kids what you're doing. We use a lot of video. Once you got clips, show the kids the clips, show them the play, diagram them. I do, talk about moving into the 21st century with stuff. And my defensive coordinator, I love him. He's a very detailed guy. I'm trying to get him out of this year, giving out scouting reports on paper. And I went to screencast, so I screencast everything. Yep. I'm like, our kids are visual. They listen, they watch. You got to do things of that nature. So I think that's a big way to do it. And I think with anything, it's okay to, I got into this whole craze of when I was first getting into it. I wanted to go fast. Well, when people ask me, for example, what offense we run, I always say that we're a no huddle spread team. And I always tell people I intentionally leave out the word tempo, because we really don't go fast. There are periods, but we're not fast every play. It's not our barometer. That used to be, we just go fast enough, we'll tire them out. You learn through experience. And so it has to be times where you slow down and teach kids things, and then you speed it up, and you're trying to get them to understand the time and the place for everything. So I think anything that you can do to reach your kids. I mean, I carry my iPad with me. The kids ask me why I'm not the cool coach with the iPhone and I have a Galaxy Note, because I said I got this pen where I can just draw stuff for you guys in different colors.
Better believe it.
It's stupid. They think it's stupid, but I think it's the best thing in the world. So, things of that nature I think are important.
You carry that around at practice?
Oh, I do. But I'm gonna tell you what I like better, and I would encourage this for any coach that could. I'm still kind of old school in that regard, in the sense of I've got to do a better job of it. Which I like to take notes on a little notepad and scribble them down. But if we got to draw something up, I will definitely draw something up there. And I've even, we've got the iPads now. If I can screenshot some on the iPad and draw it up, we will as well. And I think anything that you can do to use all the disposable technology, because that's what our kids are into. It's got to be about them, not how we learn, how they learn, and how can we reach them. Because if you're not reaching them, then you're not going to be successful.
That's a great point. And I want to sorry to cut you off, Walls, but I kind of like to kind of get back into, you talking about keeping a notepad out at practice. I hadn't heard someone say this yet, and I've seen couple college coaches jotting different things down, and then our head coach jotting things down. But I've never, I guess, had the nerve to ask, "What are you guys writing?" So, what are you looking for? What are some things sometimes that you find yourself writing down out of practice
Well,
that
I
you
think
wouldn't see
so.
from film, maybe?
Right. Well, I say, well, not even see. We forget stuff, and you
Yep.
forget the moment and how it made you feel and why you felt that way. So like for we get ready to do spring football, and I've only got new notepads. Well, I want to write down everything. I'm trying to. We're gonna, you're gonna script it because you're playing your team and during practice until you get to the spring game. So you're not worried about beating the opponent. You're worried about getting better. And so every little note that comes to mind, we didn't do this right, we didn't do that right, or coach taught this, why? We were running this coverage display, why? Why didn't he check this? He stepped over the line. Why didn't we address it? We need to go back and explain it. So, as I'm getting more mature and older, then I guess in this head coaching thing and even everything, anything that comes to mind, write it down, question everything, get answers. And sometimes we watch film, but what are you looking for? I think that's it goes back to, and you work with them, so you know them well. It goes back to even Dub in the R4 process, even for game planning. Do you know what you're looking for? Why am I trying to watch 100 plays when 5 plays will tell me what I should be using in the run game? I don't need 100 plays. And so the same thing with practice. Can I write down 5 notes about 5 plays that'll make a difference? Maybe I don't need to show the kids all 80 clips. I only need to show them 5, but I need to know where I'm going, why I need to show them that, and things of that nature. So just write it down, jot it down, quick notes, and so that you go back and you can review it and it's good for yourself.
Our entire install is done in 5 days. It's done in 5 days, and we're rolling. The fun thing about us, it's an RPO offense. Everything is based off of the inside zone, and we play off of that. So we have 15 different ways to run the inside zone in the backfield, but to up front, all you hear is the same code words. So you're hearing what we have for zone left and zone right, but in the backfield, to the action, to the linebackers, to safeties, it's going to look like 110 different things. And that's the fun thing about the RPO offense. What do you tell the safeties? What do you tell the outside linebackers? Read the run, but keep your keys. Well, what if the safety what if number 3 carries vertical? You're going to turn and run. Don't let them behind you, but you still got to have the C gap. So it puts them in a huge bind. They don't know what to do, where they're reading. So our install is simple, and we got a lot of it. I tell you, from going and watching Coach Briles at Baylor, kind of figuring out what they were trying to get done and accomplish. And I think a lot of guys waste a lot of time trying to be too complicated, having too much stuff. With what you do, if it works, run it. Run it until they can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? So they try to stop you, you keep going. You do the same thing and run it right down their throat until they figure out a way to stop you. And that's why, we have tried hard to simplify. So, with some motions and some different formations, it may look like a lot, but to our players, it's really simple. It's really simple. It's rule-based. It's exciting to see them when it finally clicks after day 8, day 9 on practice, and they're starting to get it. It just goes really smoothly. And the more you do it, we get a ton of reps in practice. It's a no-huddle offense, so it's fast. The more you do it, the more you figure it out. When they finally kind of have that click moment and you see it in every one of your players, once or twice, you just start seeing a man just goes at a different speed. And that's when you finally got it in them. And the tempo of it is what really saves us. You're going to try hard to try to find out what we're going to be trying to do from a defensive standpoint of keying the linemen, keying the backs, and that's just going to screw you up because once we figure out what you're reading, now we're going to go the complete opposite of what you've been reading and catch you in it. And you're not going to know what to do. And I think, to me, with running our offense and keeping it simple as we possibly can, it allows us to play more physical and faster than anybody else in the country. And I think that's what's going to make us very formidable for anyone to stop. Every team tries to do something different to try to stop what you're trying to do, of course. You know, I mean, and I think that's the biggest deal for us is when we're able to figure out what they're trying to do to stop our inside zone and play off of that, that's where we can really hurt guys. And there's no doubt. When with doing a simplistic offense, it's easy for you to teach the little nuances of the thing, of watching the knee, seeing if the knee comes at you from the front side of the combo and whamming it flat and then climbing vertical, being sure that you are playing your best angles. It allows you to do a whole lot and practice a whole lot as far as what they might see. So when you are calling a simplistic game, I mean, it just makes it easier for you to be able to nitpick on the little things, which equal big victories, man. Being able to stop 3-technique slants, gap exchange blitzes, when you can play off those, and that's what guys go to try to stop your run, you're going to catch them. You're going to catch them where it really hurts. And they're going to be stopping you for 4 or 5 yards, you know, a clip, but, you know, you're going to break a 40. You're going to break a 50 after a couple times because we're going to catch them out of it. And I think, no doubt, if you keep it simple, they learn how to run it. They learn how to run it effective. You're not sitting there trying to out-scheme guys because they're trying to out-scheme you. And that's what's fun about tempo offense. You can't do a lot of exotic blitzes. You can't do a lot of twists because you got to play base just to keep up with what we're trying to do. That's why Baylor was able to still – everybody thought Baylor was air raid, but, hell, they led the nation in rushing yards per carry for a lot of years. I mean, Coach Clem did a great job with that offensive line. You know, he's now at Houston. Those guys did a great job. And just getting there to watch them and see how simplistic idea it was just to keep basic and let them play fast, let them play physical. You just kind of sit there and think, why do we spend so much time in the film room? It's that easy. Let's just go out effort. And it works.